We are a group of neurodivergent people.
I have cerebral palsy.
I have mild autism.
I have ADHD.
And for the first time, we will get the chance to interview well-known celebrities and personalities.
Who's feeling nervous?
Like I'm feeling extremely cold for some reason. It's just the nerves.
Is it bad I feel the need to just pinch myself over and over right now?
Are you pinching yourself?
You can pinch 100 times you want to.
Today, our guest is the President of Singapore.
Hi. Hi, good to see you again, Stephanie.
Nice to see you again.
Wonderful, great meeting you again.
Thank you.
Still writing?
So,
You actually know me, right? On
Yes.
office.
Yes, how are you?
Good.
Good to see you.
My name is Durkesh.
How do you spell it?
Durkes.
Durkesh.
No.
Oh, no, wait, Durkesh. It's an unusual name. Where should I sit? Okay. They're all different colors, is it? Or mine is a different color?
All the same color.
Okay.
Us, all the same.
Mine is a nice color.
Yeah.
Take a seat, everyone.
Hi, how are you? Good to see you.
Good
Very
afternoon,
good.
President Tharman. My name is Shrikant, and I love music just like you.
Wonderful.
Hi.
How are you?
Very nice to meet you, President Tharman. My name is Trevor.
Nice batik shirt.
Thank you. I wore it just for you.
Thank you. Okay, so it's all full up now. So, shoot.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. I'm PJ, and welcome to the Assembly. Now, we have some rules in the circle. There is no subject that's off limits. No question will be turned away, and anything can happen here at all.
Okay.
Can you tell us one thing about yourself that you will never change?
I'll never stop liking sports.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's from very early in life, and throughout life I've just loved sports. I grew up playing sports every single day, even on Sundays. I might add music, but sports came first. I remember once, I must have been about 15 years old, and I had an injury. Despite the injury, I still insisted on going down for sports practice, but the injury was in my arms, so I was supposed to be playing hockey that day. But because I couldn't use my arms, I decided to play goalkeeper. Where you don't need to be using your arms so much and you use your legs as well. So I love sports. Never stopped liking sports.
Do you play golf like other presidents?
I used to play golf some years ago, but very rarely.
Well, I had a hole-in-one before.
Really? That's amazing.
Do you still play sports?
Well, now I don't play serious sports. I just exercise and I enjoy watching sports. I watch sports often.
How do you feel about Liverpool's new manager?
Well, it's too early to say. He takes over from a very good manager, Jurgen Klopp, is it? But Liverpool has some very good players. In fact, some of my favorite players are in Liverpool, Mohamed Salah especially. While you're getting the mic, I'm checking to see if I was right about the name of the Liverpool manager. So you know the answer? You're a Man U fan?
Mr. President, my name is Desperate. What exactly does the president do?
So the president is not in politics, okay? So I'm not a minister, okay? I meet a lot of people like yourselves. I meet people who are doing things on the ground to help others. I meet groups of people who are trying to improve themselves. Some are people with disability who are discovering their abilities. And I must say that one of the things I've learned as a president, now that I'm spending more time with people with disability, is you really can be astounded and very impressed by the abilities that people with disability have.
So, Mr. President, I was just wondering, What happens if you disagree with the Prime Minister? Will that be considered high treason?
The president is not a politician, and the prime minister is the political leader of the country, and there are different roles. There are some things that the prime minister and the government want to do that requires the president to also agree.
Okay.
Not everything, but some things.
Okay.
And if the president doesn't agree, it's not a big fight, but the matter has to be reconsidered. Sometimes it has to be reconsidered by the whole of the parliament, or sometimes the government will reconsider it itself. When you're either in politics or you're in a role like mine, which is not a political role, you may have a different view, you may have a different judgment on what the right thing to do is, but it doesn't mean you have to be against each other. And I think it's important that as much as possible, the president and the prime minister don't feel they're opposing each other or on opposing sides.
Right.
It sounds a bit complicated.
No, it's a wonderful answer.
Hello, President Tharman. Does your wife cook for you?
No, but actually she never did, because early in our married life, I did more of the cooking.
Okay, that's
So
good.
we don't really believe in the wife having to cook for the husband or anything like that.
One more thing is, can I be a president?
Why not?
Okay.
Why not?
Because I like to save the world and take care of this country and make it a better place.
We should all want to make our country and the world a better place.
Yeah.
And there are different ways of doing it.
Yeah.
Not just by being the president, there are many other ways we can do it. I'm sure you're all doing it in your different ways. With your friends, with your family. We all do what we can.
You and your wife have been married for like 34 years. Have you guys ever fought before?
Not physically. But it is normal for married couples to disagree with each other and have arguments. But we never have arguments that lead to us feeling really bad about each other. My wife and I have a very close relationship, and we're just so happy it continues to last and, in fact, deepen. We get even closer over time.
I've tried gather information about your mom, but couldn't find any. So can you tell us more about your mom?
Well, my mum has been a wonderful mother. My grandparents were in both Malaysia and Singapore, and my mother happened to be born in Kuala Lumpur before she came to Singapore. She has been a homemaker her whole life, bringing up the family. So she didn't work outside. But homemakers are people who are responsible for so much of Singapore, because all of us grew up under our parents, some with a single parent, most with two parents, and we owe a lot to them.
What is one life lesson you learned from your mom?
Oh, many, many, many lessons. First, if you have a meal in front of you, finish everything. Don't waste food. And when I grew up, I was always eating with my hands. And when you eat with your hands and you've got a little bit of sauce on the plate, some curry or some sauce, you can actually wipe the sauce completely off with your fingers and finish it off. I used to enjoy doing that. My mother taught me to live with very little pocket money, enough for the bus fare and one soft drink. I appreciate that she brought me up not feeling that I needed to have very much. It's a good way to grow up.
Yeah, Mr. President, I agree that too. You're right.
Thank you.
Hello, President Tharman. I know you have 4 children. So I want to know, what if you don't approve of your child or your children's choice of boyfriend or girlfriend?
Dear Mr. President, how do you discipline your children?
My wife and I brought up our children to find their own way. So we don't actually discipline our children very much. Now, of course, they're grown up. They're in their late 20s and early 30s. But even when they were young, we would talk to them a lot. Sometimes you have to talk to them in a very strong way. but nothing more than that.
What if you don't approve of your child or your children's choice of boyfriend or girlfriend?
Well, we have never commented to them about that.
Really?
We leave it to them. They can tell for themselves whether we like their friends, but we don't feel it's right for us to comment or tell them whether we think, yes, this is a very good person, or maybe you should be looking for someone else, but we trust them. And we haven't had a problem so far.
Oh, that's good.
The main thing is people who are looking for a partner and eventually to get married must be looking for someone they respect and love. That's what matters.
Good afternoon, President Tharman.
Afternoon.
You are good at so many things and you seem so confident always. But what is one personal insecurity that you struggle with that might surprise Singaporeans?
Well, I'm sure there are many, because I'm not good at everything. Interesting point. Something which I've never been very good at is to be disciplined and to get everything done in time when I was young as well as through life. But I do what I enjoy at each point in time. I'll probably be more effective if I was more disciplined. It was a huge weakness when I was young, huge weakness, because I found it very hard to pay attention in class, in school. It was just part of my character. I couldn't pay attention. Even when I was in my 20s, I was like that.
Good afternoon, Mr. President. If you had a time machine, which era or year would you travel to and why?
That's a fascinating question. Maybe I would travel to the time of my grandparents' generation. People who were youth and young adults about 100 years ago, because very little was given to them. Actually, our parents were quite similar. They had to make a life for themselves. And it was a time when the whole world was having big ups and downs. There were wars.
Oh my, rumors of wars.
Yeah, that was true.
There were wars, and in our part of the world, there was a terrible war. We still have terrible wars going on in the world today.
Oh my goodness me. That grieves my heart.
Yes. But those were the days when our parents and our grandparents were growing up, where really nothing was given. The future was uncertain, but they developed such strength and character, and that's how nations were formed. That's actually how Singapore was formed as well. So when you look at those periods, you realize that you're able to do big things, and you're able to change the course of history by what you do and what you do together with others.
If you had a chance, would you change anything during that time to alter history?
I don't feel I can say that I would change something that they have done. I just have a lot of respect for what my grandparents and actually that whole generation of grandparents, I just have a lot of respect for what they did. They worked so hard. They had to do everything for themselves. I just have a lot of respect for that.
There probably have been a couple or some people who may have said awful things to your face. Is there any that you can recall that was like the most awful?
It was a football match. Someone was coming to play a game later in the evening, came early. He was quite a forceful guy. He wanted to start playing earlier than the time he was meant to play. I was something like a captain, informal captain, and he sort of actually tried to bully me. So I remember I answered him quite nicely to explain to him, and he gave me a very bad answer after that, which I won't repeat because it's not allowed on the air. But that's life, and he probably had some problems. I don't think he meant to be very nasty, but he probably just had some problems.
I see you also agree with me on the idea of benefit of the doubt, and I really appreciate that.
No, great question.
Hi, Mr. President. What was the biggest fight you've ever had with your father?
It's very interesting because I've never had a fight with my father or any serious argument.
Ooh, I see.
Because he allowed me to do whatever I wanted and to grow up my own way. Both my father and mother put very little pressure on me, and I really appreciated that. So they just let me grow up the way I wanted.
Oh,
So
wow.
No fight.
Wow. I can share a little bit of my self experience.
Yeah,
so ever since I was born, my dad always scolded me, beat me, caned me. I feel like I was living in a torture environment until I turned 21 years old as an adult. My dad always scolded me, beat me, caned me. There's one time my mouth also got blood, then here got bad bruises.
Oh dear.
I feel like I was living in a torture environment until I turned 21 years old as an adult. I was forced to be independent on my own.
Mm-hmm.
My family abandoned me because I have ASD Yeah, so I not like your parents who didn't give you any pressure
So what happened to you after you were 21? Where did you go and where were you living?
Then I moved into the rental rooms.
Okay.
I was taken care by the organization.
Okay.
I'm also now working full time. So my biggest goal is I want to buy my own house.
Yeah.
Yeah, hopefully can get married one day.
Yes.
To prove myself that I'm better than my family.
Yes, I understand that fully. Well, you've had a very difficult life as a young person. Sometimes it strengthens you, gives you strength for the rest of your life. And you give me the impression that you have real strength in you.
Thank you. I will continue to prove myself to be much stronger.
Yeah.
And hopefully one day I will achieve my goals independently also.
Yes.
Yeah.
Keep in touch with me. Let me know how things are going and if you need some help.
Wow, that's an unexpected answer. Thank
Thanks.
you.
Mr. President, Tharman, do you actually like pineapples?
I quite like pineapple. It's a simple fruit. It's not very expensive compared to some other fruits. It's got a lot of vitamin C and many other vitamins as well.
And I have a surprise for you after this.
Okay, I think I can guess what it is.
Can I just say something? I love pineapple, just not on pizzas.
You're right, same as me. I dislike pineapple on pizzas, exactly like you.
Hi, sir.
Hi.
I heard that you like one is the Chinese song called 安静 and
Yes.
月亮代表我的心. So what made you like these songs?
I'm not Chinese, so I like songs that are simple. An Jing has a soulful spirit about it. It's a very soulful song. It was sung so well by Jay Chou. It's still my favorite Chinese song, actually. 月亮代表我的心 is also one of my favorites, like many people's favorites, because it's easy to sing, easy to appreciate. It's also something that people can sing together with you.
What is the most favorite genre of music?
Very good question. If you talk about English music, I feel the English pop music of the late 1960s, 1970s, 1980s is the best ever. People like David Bowie, people like Stevie Wonder, who's very different. One of my favorite songs, in fact, came a bit later, which is Zombie by the Cranberries.
I always play this.
Their songs had meaning. They were beautiful to listen to. And they're not all the same, you see. Each of them had so much character, and the songs had so much meaning. Who are your favorite bands or?
Mine is more of early 2000s.
Okay.
Yeah, I love all the pop punk stuff like Green Day, Simple Plan, Avril Lavigne.
Wonderful. Do you play in a band or on your own?
For me, I sometimes do solo, sometimes I play in a band.
Okay.
Then now I'm teaching drums also.
I see. Who do you teach?
Young, about around 12 years old, kids.
Okay, that's very good.
Good afternoon, President Tharman. My name is Shrikant and I need to ask you a question.
Wonderful.
What makes you angry?
What makes me angry? I get a little upset when my cats fight with each other, which sometimes happens.
I see.
Cats don't get along easily with each other, and sometimes they get into very, very nasty fights with each other.
I see. Then what tools do you use to make yourself feel better?
Well, when I say I get angry when they are fighting, actually I'm angry at them for fighting, and I try and stop them from fighting. But I'm not myself angry inside.
Oh, thank you.
Hi, good afternoon, Mr. President Tharman Shanmugaratnam.
Thank you for pronouncing my full name.
I know you studied in economics, so what was the most uneconomical purchase you ever made?
What was the most uneconomical purchase I ever made? I know what are the economical purchases I've made. Uneconomical, there must have been some. See, I have very broad feet, and I once bought a pair of shoes when I was traveling, and it was in a winter climate, and I paid quite a bit for it because it was such a good pair of shoes. But when I came back to Singapore in a warmer climate, I realized that my feet in the winter climate were smaller than my feet are in the warmer climate.
Yeah.
So when I got
Same.
back home, I found it was too tight.
Oh dear.
So I tried to sell it on Carousel. And in fact, my daughter tried to help me sell it, and eventually she found a buyer, but of course at a very cheap price.
I also same brand as you.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Mr. President, it's been a huge honor having you in the Assembly. I hope that you enjoyed answering our questions.
I did. It was a real privilege for me. Thank you. I like the fact that you asked any questions you wanted to ask. I hope I gave you answers which you found interesting. But the main thing, I suppose, that runs through all the questions and all the answers is actually we are not very different from each other. All of you have obviously got abilities from the way you ask your questions, from the research you've done even, and we just have to appreciate what each of us are bringing. Thank you very much. So this is a cake, is it?
Yeah.
Oh wow. Very nice. Very, not too strong a flavor.
Yeah.
Very nice.